Sorry about that. Tremendous win here for Britain for Eddie Irvine. I think we can pop straight down to the press conference, can we? Eddie Irvine about to enjoy his win.
Congratulations, Eddie Irvine. 82 attempts in your first win. How does it feel?
It's fantastic to do it with Ferrari. Is amazing. You know, it was incredible all weekend. Me and my engineer, we've been just working away, doing our own thing, and we've made different choices from a lot of people on various things. And really, we were convinced we were going the right way. And apart from McLaren's, we proved we were. You know, it's fantastic to do it with Ferrari, and after such a long time, you know, and all the people have helped me, and from Formula Ford all the way up. It's a big thank you to everyone who helped me. They all know who they are, so there's so many. I'd be here for a few hours. I needed a lot of help to get here, believe me.
Eddie, the key moment seemed to be at the end of the first safety car period. How did you see that?
Well, Mika, I don't know. I think he was in a problem. He had a problem. He went very slow, and I knew the rule. As long as I didn't go ahead of him, it wasn't classed as overtaking, and he was going so slow, and I did him, and that was great. Thank you very much, and off I went. And then, you know, obviously I knew I had to build a lead up for Heinz, obviously, because I didn't want to have him doing me at the pit stop. So I pushed like hell, and of course the next thing, just as I was building up a gap, the pace car came out again, and then I was lucky enough just to be able to build up a big enough gap to get out ahead of him for the second run. And then I think it was a BAR held me up for about 4 laps. And it looked like his engine was about to blow, which was really worrying, because I thought, you know, if that goes, you know, I have a good chance of going off on the oil, but everything worked out okay. Can't complain.
Were you using a different race setup from Michael?
My car, I really, you know, we started off fairly similar, then we made a fairly fundamental change in the car, which I felt would be better. I'd tested it at Fiorano, and we came here, we tried it, and immediately I felt it didn't work, and Michael wasn't sure, so I went back to what I was happy with. And you know, even on the Friday, I kept saying the car feels good, I don't understand why we're slow. And then Saturday again, the car felt good, I just couldn't do, you know, weren't quick. And then today, the car felt good. It's a little bit unstable and a little bit quick change of direction, but actually the balance is fundamentally fantastic. To be honest, this is the best car I've ever driven, for sure.
Thanks, Eddie. Heinz-Harald, your first race with Jordan, and straight away a podium in a second place. Tell us the story of your race.
Well, first of all, I'm very pleased with the second place with Jordan together. It's great to be on the podium. The race situation, like Eddie explained, the key point was the safety car situation. All of a sudden, Mika Häkkinen went slow, and I don't know why. I thought there was a bit of confusion because I didn't see any green flags at the end on the last lap, and I wasn't quite sure if it's really the end of the safety car time. But then I saw Ralph coming up on the long side, and I said, Jesus, he's going to overtake me just before the line. But luckily he didn't for him, but he passed me on the end of the straight. I could pass him back to the second corner, and I think that was the key point. And then Eddie was pushing like hell at the beginning. I tried to keep up with him. That's the strongest race I saw from Eddie so far, I have to say. Really, it was really going like hell. I was trying to keep on with him. And I was thinking he has on soft tires. He must be tired well, at least the tires, they must be tied up a couple of while. And but he keep on going, and I thought it's pretty difficult to beat Eddie today, and I tried to make my own race.
Well done, Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Amazing, you know, all the drivers that finished in the top 6 have driven for Eddie Jordan at one time or another. And we'll be back to have a word with Tony Jardine about the big moments of the Australian Grand Prix. You are back with us in Melbourne. A wonderful day in the career of Eddie Irvine. If you were with us right at the start of the programme, you might remember I said the headline on the Australian paper this morning was "Here we go again." Are they sure?
Fast but fragile, or what? I mean, who would have thought that both the McLarens would have gone out like that, and who would have thought that Eddie would have got his first win in 82 Grand Prix? The most successful driver to visit the podium has now got his first win, you know, and he never had a win in all that time. 8 podiums last year, it's great for him.
From the word go, though, Tony, you got the feeling this wasn't going to be McLaren's day.
We were talking about it at the beginning. We were talking about the reliability. Here we are in the garage before the start of the race. Already some ECU ECU problems on the engine of Mika Häkkinen, and he's changing over to the spare car, putting him in there, and there's a lot more things that were going wrong for McLaren. And we talked about at the beginning, it's all about reliability. These things, these cars, and there you saw, that was plugged into the ECU unit from the umbilical cords, which are all in that big ancillary gantry overhead, caught around the rear wheel. That dropped onto Ron Dennis's head, it dropped onto one of the mechanics' head, and even Coulthard had come into the pits with
I guess when the roof falls on your head, you do think perhaps someone up there isn't actually looking after us. At the start of the race, I mean, when we left it last year in Japan, Schumacher stalls on the grid, and here we do go again.
Deja vu, and a great problem, but it's a question of had everybody gone past him or not? No, because there's Teranosuke Takagi behind him down the pits. It would have been a Ferrari decision from the team manager to say, OK, you've got to go back and start from the back of the grid, but in fact the arrows went behind him. Now, it's reported that one of the mechanics last year was sacked because he failed to get enough dry ice into the car that caused him to stall after the restart in Suzuka. Deja vu, he must have thought this is a replay.
And then another restart and a crucial moment in the race for Eddie Irvine.
Yeah, now the safety car came out after the rear wing failure of Jacques Villeneuve. Now the safety car just pulled off there. This is fabulous restart. Mika Häkkinen, we thought, oh God, here he goes, he's going to get back into the lead, but those engine problems came back in. It was something, and Eddie Irvine, great there, great feeling and moment for him, but you also saw Ralf Schumacher briefly going up into second place, and Heinz-Harald Frentzen got that second place back from him just after that. But Eddie was never headed in the Ferrari. He felt good, and it was like Suzuka last year. Once he knew that his teammate Schumacher had been sent to the back, a flick switched inside him. He felt responsible. He felt motivated. And, you know, how can you come into a race with a contract saying you can't win?
Yes.
And he's gone and won. I think that's even great. Smack one in the face for the lawyers.
Yeah, it is absolutely great. I said to you that every one of the 6 drivers, thank you very much, every one of the 6 drivers had actually raced for Eddie Jordan at one time or another. So let's see Eddie, the star maker, talking now to James.
Well, Eddie Jordan's got a real reputation as a nurturer of talent, and today, Eddie, 6 of the top 6 drivers, all 6 of the top 6 drivers are guys you've brought right up to the top, and there's a tear in your eye, isn't there?
Well, I don't want to say that, but very emotional, to be truthful, because I started a youth policy many years ago, and this is the ultimate, you know, really.
A word about Eddie Irvine, though, his first win, that very special feeling. You had it yourself in Spa. What's he going through right now?
Well, it's a fantastic day for Irish motorsport. I brought Eddie from Japanese Formula 3000, where, you know, he had his ups and downs and problems initially with Senna, and latterly with, you know, playing understudy to Michael, which I thought was beginning to annoy him somewhat. Today has just been remarkable. I don't want to take anything. Jordan was second, but today is Eddie Irvine. It was fantastic. And as I say, a great day for the Jordan team. We have realised some of our ambitions that, you know, we're on our way. We thought Ferrari weren't going to be as strong as they were, perhaps, but who knows? Today is a great day. Let's cherish the moment. For Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who's just joined the team, remarkable performance, you know, in front of everybody and not knowing what's going on or what's happening. He was within a second or two of Eddie at the end, and it was actually a very good race.
As always, Eddie, you said it all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, he does well at that. We'll have to have him up here as a summariser at some stage, won't we, or anything like that. Wonderful, though, for Eddie Irvine. He has proved now he can win in Formula 1.
He has, and you think about his start in '93 when he unlapped himself against the great Ayrton Senna, and Senna punched him in the garage afterwards for his troubles.
Punched him in the garage?
Punched him in the garage afterwards. But the other thing that we have to remember is that Irvine raced all last year in extreme pain, and he's beaten the pain barrier because he didn't fit properly into the driving position of the Ferrari. So much so that they've constructed a special seat for him this year with these air cavities where he can actually pump the seat up, and he's feeling comfortable at last. And we have to praise Sonia Irvine, his sister and physiotherapist, because she did hour after hour of work on his back last year. Every time he got out of the Grand Prix car, he was in severe pain, and I think it's a great tribute to her, to him, and the whole Irvine family.
And also, just quickly, this sport does matter to him. He's delighted by that win.
Absolutely over the moon. I've never seen him so happy, and quite rightfully too. He can go back to his £4 million yacht, the Anaconda, off Genoa and have a beer.
And so are we. You can see a rerun of this fantastic race a bit later this morning at 11:05, and the highlights coming up just before midnight on ITV. Well, these are fantastic moments for Irishman Eddie Irvine. His finest hour in Formula One, and when all that fuss had died down a bit, Eddie spoke to Louise Goodman.
And to win your first race here, where there's so many Ferrari fans, where there's so many Paddies, and even there's even Ulster flags out there as well, you know, which is great. This was like a home Grand Prix nearly. You know, I've been to Australia a few times. The reception I get here is fantastic. So they've done it here, the first race of the season, and to win in Ferrari, it's mega.
What is it about Australia? Why do they love you so much here?
Because a load of Irish convicts here, I think, from years ago. I don't know. I think they like living, you know, there's the same principles on life that I have, maybe. You know, the good thing is there's young drivers maybe seen today and they realise you actually can win races and enjoy yourself at the same time.
But it's been a long time coming.
It has, but you know, there has been opportunities in the past where it could have happened. It didn't because of team orders, so that's the situation. But at the same time, if I hadn't have been here, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to win today. So, you know, all comes to he who waits. And
you've had...
And you know, Michael did all the pre-season testing, made the car reliable for me, and I get the glory, which is great.
I would like to say congratulations to Eddie, because he did a magnificent job, and finally he got his first victory in. I mean, all the team is very happy, so am I. Even so, it didn't work for me today, but I mean, that's racing.
It's a fantastic day for Irish motorsport. I brought Eddie from Japanese Formula 3000, where, you know, he had his ups and downs and problems initially with Senna, and latterly with you know, playing understudy to Michael, which I thought was beginning to annoy him somewhat. Today has just been remarkable. I don't want to take anything. Jordan was second, but today is Eddie Irvine. It was fantastic.
And Harold, it was really a day to get a result today, and you got one.
I'm very pleased, together with Jordan, Moog and Honda, to have 6 points here in the beginning of the season. Very important for us. I think the season is very tight. Everybody is gearing up, and this 6 points, nobody can steal us.
A difficult day, but that was for all of the drivers really, and we picked up a good strategy, but it was pretty similar to everyone else's strategy really today. Thought we had a very good balanced car for the race, and well, I'm pretty pleased.
Rubens, you'd never started fourth, and I know that was you had high hopes for today's race.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely a good hope, because starting fourth with in Melbourne, knowing that everybody had doubts about reliability, even us, it was a race that we could have won it. And then looking back now for the race, for the pace and that we had, for the overtaking maneuvers that I had, I could have won the race. It was unlucky as well to have started last in the pit, because you know, the other car was even better, I thought.
Here's the first of the losers. Come on, Maggie, EJ.
I thought I'd never be happy again.
It's great to win in Ferrari. The first race to win in Ferrari is like, it's different, isn't it?
Does that make it that much more special?
Well, I don't know. I never won anything else.
So Eddie Irvine first away in '99, Frentzen getting early points on the board for Jordan, Ralf Schumacher puts Williams on the podium, Fisichella getting 3 for Benetton, 5th a super effort by Barrichello after all his problems, and De La Rosa making his point on his F1 debut. And if you look at how the team stand, just look at the right of the caption, no joy there for McLaren. OK, let's get a considered view of the Australian Grand Prix now from Martin Brundle.
Well, what an unpredictable Grand Prix result. McLaren definitely had the pace in the early stages, as you saw, but not the reliability. They dropped the ball, and Eddie Irvine most definitely picked it up. His cavalier attitude and his relaxed approach definitely was exactly what he needed. He had the legs of Frentzen in second place, Ralf Schumacher in third, and really controlled the race very, very well. A well-deserved win. Eddie Jordan's team in second place, making it a very Irish day. I was also pleased with De La Rosa in the Arrows in 6th place, his first Grand Prix and his first point, with a good solid drive and good pace through the mid-race especially. Fundamentally, the Arrows was a 98 car. Given all the reliability problems, maybe some of the other teams were wishing they'd got their old cars here.
And here's your complete rundown. Irvine the winner, Frentzen and Ralf Schumacher, Fisichella 4th, Barrichello so determined for 5th. De La Rosa 6th on his Arrows and F1 debut. Takagi in the second Arrows. Michael Schumacher a lap behind, but driving the fastest lap and the last finisher. Zonta's BAR completing 48 laps, then Badoa. Wirtz had suspension trouble. Deniz gearbox failed. Trulli and Genet crashed. Panis went around the same time. Häkkinen's throttle went. Zanardi spun. The McLaren's hydraulics finished coulthard. Villeneuve spectacularly losing his rear wing. Hill hardly got started, and Herbert and Alesi didn't. Right then, let's get Tony Jardine's view of this remarkable Grand Prix. First of all, Tony, the McLarens, should they have used the 98 car?
At one point there was a plan under consideration to use the 98 car with some 99 bits on it because they weren't happy with the reliability of the new car. I thought Ron might take up that plan because he could have kept a nose ahead and then perhaps used the new car in Brazil, but ultimately they wanted to test the car, and this is the result, unfortunately, a very fast failure.
What did you make of all those problems the McLarens had before the start?
I think that this was, as you can see here, looking at Häkkinen in the garage, this was quite a surprise. One was related to Mercedes, and then the throttle linkage in there, which is mechanical and going into the spare car. The problems are caused by the fact they only had a limited amount of time, you see, to get out before the pit lane closed. That was still left attached in a panic, which is uncharacteristic of McLaren, which then brought the big gantry down on the heads of the people inside, but they were against the clock.
Would you expect a debrief on that incident?
I would expect a massive debrief on everything, because over these next 5 weeks they're going to work on reliability. They want to try and produce a bulletproof car. It's very, very fast. It's a fabulous car. It just lacks reliability.
We left Michael Schumacher stalled on the grid in Japan in November. Same again here?
Deja vu, I'm afraid so, yes. And that time they were also saying that there wasn't enough ice had been packed into the radiator. There was the clutch getting hot, the electronics getting hot, exactly the same as in Japan. And reputedly, a mechanic was sacked over that affair in Japan. And then we saw Michael climbing over the curbs, this high-speed puncture on the right rear. Also affected was his front wing as well. Had he been pounding the Ferrari over the curbs? We don't know.
I don't think Ferrari have sorted out those Bridgestone tyres yet, have they? But at least that opened the way for Eddie Irvine.
Yeah, it did, and against the odds again, Eddie Irvine, you know, against the run of the contract, shall we say. But after the big crash with Villeneuve's rear wing had failed, they cleared that out came the safety car, and off they went as soon as the safety car had gone. Look at Eddie out dragging the already faltering McLaren of Häkkinen. Ralf Schumacher briefly up into second place ahead of his countryman there, Heinz-Harald Frentzen. And Frentzen jumped him again to get back into second place, but Irvine never looked back. You know, the best thing about today is he's put his CV out to everybody saying, look, I want to be a team leader. And he's been so close before. You look twice in '97, he nearly won. He was leading in Japan, and then he had to pull back and give the win to Schumacher. He's saying, I'm going to be number one.
Just sum it up, Oz. The Australian Grand Prix.
Well, I think it was a typical new car start to the whole thing. It was the most bizarre race I've seen in a long time. There was debris everywhere, there was cars failing everywhere, but we had an absolutely fabulous motor race, and it's back to 0 points for everybody, for the main championship protagonist from Brazil.
And of course we will go to Brazil in 5 weeks' time. Sorry about the gap, not our fault though. Qualifying and the race live on the weekend of Saturday and Sunday, April the 10th and 11th. Well, this has been Clean Up Australia Day. There's a fair amount of debris to be removed from Albert Park, but Eddie Irvine has polished them all off here. He's top of the podium at last. Good night.
If you would like to know more about Formula One, the website address sponsored by F1 Racing Magazine is www.itv-f1.com.